Welcome to Bill Dance Saltwater. Great fun, fishing that anyone can do. Yes, you can do this. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Bill Dance Saltwater. This week, we're going gator hunting. Did you hear me? I said gator hunting, but it's not the kind of gator you might be thinking about. No, this week, we're fishing for those giant gator-sized speckled trout that the Indian River along Florida's Space Coast is famous for. And Bill's great friend and super guide, Peter Deeks, is showing us the way. And that's why Bill loves to keep coming back. Wouldn't you? I would. But let me tell you, folks, while the Space Coast of Florida is loaded with great fishing, bring the rest of the family along too, because there's plenty of things to do besides wetting a line. Airboat rides and sightseeing tours are fantastic ways to spend the day. Or if you want a little more quieter, relaxing time, there's 72 miles of Atlantic Ocean coastline just waiting for you to dip your toes in the water. But today, we're fishing. After all, we've got gators to hunt. Ha ha! Let's climb aboard with these two old boys and have some fun with them. Okay?
We titled this show Indian River Gators.
Yeah.
So, and there's a reason for that. I don't want to imply that there's gators. Are there any alligators on this river?
Not many.
So we titled the show Indian River Gators.
Yeah.
And the reason for that, we're fishing for gator trout. But
Right.
why do they call them gators?
I guess
Gator trout.
when a trout gets to be a certain size, which it varies wherever you're fishing. So for here, we're fishing for the biggest. So it's got to be like 26 inches or better to be a gator, maybe even a little bit bigger. Whereas if you're fishing other areas, a gator might be bigger than 20 inches. But it's the biggest of all spotted sea trout, and it's like a bull redfish. You know,
Yeah.
when they get that size, it's a big alligator trout. And so when you say gator trout, it means it's
huge.
It's huge. It's an impressive fish that you're proud of. You know, you don't have to specify the exact size. You just say, we caught 10 gators today. People know you had a really good day.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to fire this thing up head on.
All right, let's get them, P-Paul.
Okay, ready to go. We trim her down. What is the salinity factor where we're fishing?
It depends on the tide direction.
Yeah.
Incoming tide, it's going to be Atlantic Ocean water, very salty. Outgoing tide, the river water itself, is pretty brackish. We have a lot of freshwater tributaries that leach into the river. So the Indian River Lagoon as a whole is salty, but much less salty than the Atlantic Ocean.
So is the whole river system, it's brackish, is the whole Indian River brackish?
Pretty much. I mean, it's not brackish enough to hold freshwater fish like bass, but it's not nearly as salty as the ocean would be. Get him,
Got one on.
Get him.
Get that and go. So, like shark, are they all through the?
There are sharks, yep.
They're all through
saltwater fish.
a tarpon are all the way through the
They are.
Indian River system.
Yeah, so the Indian River, we call it an Indian River, but it's actually a lagoon. And so it's a bunch of different islands and freshwater tributaries that lead into it on the mainland side. And then the ocean side, you've got these islands in the Atlantic Ocean through inlets and ports.
So many different saltwater species will come into the, like redfish,
Everything.
like tarpon, like
Yeah, it's a giant, it's its own ecosystem, and it's a great nursery. So you think a nursery is small fish, well, the big fish have to bring the small fish here. So you've got the biggest of everything: big trout, big tarpon, big redfish, big snook, you know, and you got the small ones growing up. It's very healthy, very, very incredible river system.
fight. Boy, I mean, they fight.
Come here, old girl. I'll grab them for you there, V-Paul. Beautiful fish.
Golly, that's pretty fish.
The spots and the coloration is different on every one of them.
Every trout has a different pattern. There she goes.
Bill Dance Saltwater is sponsored in part by Bass Pro Shops, and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Quantum Rods and Reels, Quantum Performance Tuned. And by Mercury Marine, go boldly.
Today's Conditions Log is brought to you by Bill Dance Digital. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube for great information that can improve your fishing.
Doubled up. You got yours, I got mine. Oh, he dropped it, Feed it back.
Damn it.
Oh man, we were doubled up, Big Daddy.
You got it? Am I under your
Yours
way?
no, you're good, I'm under you. I'll come back
on
for
with
it.
it.
Mine's not bad.
Oh, you got a pretty trout.
That is better. We'll take them over on this side. Man, I can't believe we were doubled up on 67+ pound trout. Are you on?
No.
No. Oh yeah. I mean, what's about the size we're coming after here?
Look at that.
We want them a little bit bigger, but
Good gracious.
we'll take it.
Yes, sirree.
By 6.5 pounds,
Just like,
maybe 7. 6.5. He's probably 27 inches, would you
Yeah.
say?
You'd say 27 inches. I wouldn't have any idea. You caught so many of them. Oh, look, you got the hook out. Everything has a predator.
Yeah.
The trout has a predator, with the exception of man.
Right.
What is the #1 predator
I'd definitely
of
say
the trout?
say dolphin, porpoise.
Porpoise.
Yeah, dolphin and sharks. You'll always find the really big trout next to dry ground or near a sandbar that they can get shallower than the dolphins or sharks can get them. That is their predator.
That's why you catch the big trout real shallow.
Real shallow. Yep, too shallow for the dolphins and sharks.
Big dolphin or a porpoise can't get into a foot of water.
I also don't think that they adapt. When they get bigger, they realize, hey, we need to go shallow. I think when trout naturally live shallow, like he's 12 inches long and he just wants to be shallow, he's going to live a lot longer than the trout that wants to go swim around in the deeper water. So they get bigger.
It makes sense. And there's always a lot of forage there.
Yeah, and they're ambush feeders. Trout don't roam around fast-moving, hitting baits. They use their spots as camouflage. So they'll nestle up next to some grass on the edge of like a sand hole, real shallow water. And whenever that mullet or bait fish swims right overhead, they only got they just strike like a snake.
And you've got irregular features along that shallow water too.
Yep.
You know, it'll go from 18 inches down to 24 inches or a little bit deeper, but it's always considerably shallow.
And that's where you'll find them, yeah, right on those changes. We're getting close to the gator trout size. Super fun to catch.
Yes, sir.
Those gamakatsus, those octopus hooks, they are the best shape of hook for tail hooking baits for these big gator trout. Like I try to use circle hooks whenever I can, but like that is the best shape. Forget for when you're fishing a tail hook bait for these big trout. Hooks them right in the corner of the mouth. This octopus shape is best for when you're rigging a bait and hooking it in the tail. If you use a circle hook, the hook will hook back into your bait and it won't hook the game fish. But that octopus hook, that's a J hook, but the tip bends in, so you don't gut hook the fish. It comes out of the bait, out of the tail of the bait, and hooks them right in the corner of the mouth just about every time. So that's definitely, in my opinion, the best hook to use when you're tail hooking any kind of live bait fish, especially for trout.
So you find the 7/0 is ideal for what we're doing.
You want to match the hook to the size of bait and the fish. So we're fishing for big trout, and we've got big pilchards for bait. So yeah, this is the best hook for today.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Mako Boats, building legends for over 40 years. Gamakatsu, the world's finest fish hooks. And Bill Dance exclusive rods by Quantum. Today's show is brought to you in part by Berkeley, catch more fish. Garmin, fight your fish, not your fish finder. And by Mystic Lubricants, lubrication domination. Today's equipment log is brought to you by Gamakatsu, because the fish of a lifetime only comes once in a lifetime.
This is the land of trout. So I caught the world record length trout right here in the Space Coast, and then a little further south down in Fort Pierce, which is 30 miles south, is where the IGFA world record weight trout was caught. So the Indian River Lagoon in Central Florida is the premier big trout fishery. It's just all of the biggest fish have been caught here.
So the Indian River is the river.
It is the river, yeah. Get him again. Big trout. You see that fish clear the water?
Yeah, he cleared it. Ooh,
did he knock the fire out of that?
He did. He's right in the corner of the mouth. You want to get him?
Yeah. Beautiful. Purple. Big old Indian River Lagoon spotted sea trout. Right there he is. Let me get up there next to you. All right, you want to back up? I'll get up next to you.
Yeah.
Let these people check him out.
Look at that big fish. Push that dorsal up. Look at that.
It's so cool. Just look at that thing. I mean, that's a big old gator trout right there.
That is a big one. Look at the side of that big old head.
Beauty, that thing. Let's get her back in the water.
He knocked the fire out of it when he hit it. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Lord.
The type tackle that we're using. Now, these rods are 6'10". And they've got a tremendous amount of backbone. We're using quantum smoke rods. We're using 30 size reels. We got it spooled with 30-pound Berkeley X9 braided line. And the tip on this rod, it's fast action.
Yep.
It's got, like I said, a tremendous amount of background.
Sure.
And these fish are giving us a tremendous amount of action as far as the fight.
Yeah, I think it's a size thing. You know, if you catch trout over 24 inches, they pull hard. You know, if you're catching little 12, 14 inches, then they're weak.
I mean, they fight like crazy.
You remember that, it was a number of years ago, but you remember that giant trout you caught? It hit a bait, and he dropped it back, and he nailed the fire.
Well, that was the biggest trout I ever caught.
That thing he was 33, 34 inches, and he might have been 12 pounds.
Oh, it was a huge trout.
He was huge.
Yeah, well, he fought me like crazy.
That was, I think, one of our first giant trout that we caught together. That was a giant, giant trout.
We got it. We did a show on. That was the first. I think that was the first trout show we ever did.
Yeah, I have a photo of that in my house, like of us holding that trout.
And I've got video of that.
He was huge.
Take a look at this. Take a look at it, and you'll just see just how hard that trout fought.
It was a giant trout.
Oh, it was a huge trout.
It was a good one.
Oh, it was.
Are you kidding me?
Ooh, that is a whopper, ain't it? Look at that big old fish. Huh?
Look at that.
Woo! That's one of my. That's how much is that, Roy?
That thing's 11 pounds, 12 pounds.
Easy. It's a 33-inch trout. Look how fat he is.
Wow.
Let him go?
Yeah, buddy.
I believe that is without question my biggest trout.
I would think so. That's a monster.
I do believe. The Bill Dance Question and Answer of the Week is brought to you by Mystic Lubricants and their complete line of JT4 marine products. A full line of products for your full line of pursuits. Visit mysticlube.com today. Heard that Power Pole changed her 10-foot blade anchor. What'd they do? They did. What happened, Power Pole redesigned the stern bracket. It's super strong, and the new bracket design flexes for improved wave absorption and allows some twists to prevent transom damage. The new bracket is made with stainless steel and a polymer core for lighter weight. The cover has a powder-coated case and a great new look.
Today's show is sponsored in part by Millennium Marine, a new class of comfort. And by Finnor, legendary tackle since 1933. Closed caption provided by The Bill Dance Store. Check us out online. Today's product tip is brought to you by Garmin and their GPS map series, chart plotter sonar combos with their advanced sonar technology, like Panoptic's Live Scope all-seeing sonar. You'll spend less time finding your fish.
Remember as a youngster how excited you were when you got your first shotgun, rod and reel, then pickup truck? Well, that's exactly how I felt when I got this new boat that I'm fishing in today. It's a 21 LTS by Mako. And let me tell you, it's truly a pleasure to fish out of. Roomy with plenty of storage, big live well, and it always gets me there safely, and it gets me back.
Come be part of Bill Dance Digital. Join us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Follow us.
Way to go.
I'm on, I'm off. Dude, this might be a good one. You've got me all insecure about my fighting style. You say I look funny when I fight fish.
No, you look like a rooster when you fight a fish.
How does a rooster stand? It's all exciting. That's what it's all about right there.
Oh, that is a big one.
You want to hold my pole and I'll grab him?
Yeah. Here he comes.
Come here, you old gator. Get a little lock on him.
Sexy.
Woo-wee! Can you see it in the sun?
Woo-wee! Look at that one.
That is a fine
Sonny
trout.
Jim. Look at that one right there. Boy, boy, boy. Is that not a pretty one?
All right, let's get her back in. There he is. Big trout next to the boat. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. Get tight, get tight, get tight. Get tight. Big one. Ooh, 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 ooh. Look at him. He's got tricks. So you know it's a big trout when it rips out drag like that. Look at that stout trout, Bill Dance. That's what we're fishing for.
Look at that one.
Gold. Come here, you old girl. Oof. Oh, yeah.
How big is that one?
That's a good one. That's over 28 inches for sure.
How much do you think it'll weigh?
It's hard to say on weight for sure. Maybe 8 pounds.
Ooh, that's a big one. 8-pound trout's a good one.
I like going off of length because you can't cheat on the length, but you can exaggerate on the weight. Right on, B-Pop. All right, you ready to check him out?
Oh my goodness.
Hold up that big old dorsal fin.
Look at all the dots on that pretty thing. Good gracious, that's a pretty fish.
Big old gator.
Well, I stuck my finger right in that. Pure cavities you have, my dear. Look at it, big. Look at all that yellow in that mouth.
Yeah. Let's get her back in the water.
Ooh, hee hee hee. Did you see the size of them gators? Buddy, I'm here to tell you. Them is some big old speckled trout right there. So big that these boys are going to have me working overtime. We're going to have to stretch this show out into 2 parts just so we can get them all in. Well, maybe between now and next week, old Bill and Peter will find a way to unwind here on the Space Coast. Maybe rest up to haul in some more of these gator-sized speckled trout. Since there's so much to do here for the whole family, I guarantee you, they won't get bored. There's just too many activities to do here on the Florida Space Coast. Thanks so much for catching us this week on Bill Dance Saltwater. And remember, this is something you can do. Yes, you can do this. We hope you've enjoyed Bill Dance Saltwater and learned that you can do this. Yes, you can do this. Please join us right here next week.